folks, it's me, Roger, back with another beer. Cheers to you all. Somebody commented on a recent video about, again with the beer, just wants like to see you with a glass of wine. But wine is fine. I like wine. I prefer it with a nice meal, maybe some port afterwards. But as a beverage, I'm a beer guy. Big shout out to Dr. Deadwax, who's back after a long absence, and what a comeback it was with a meetup with Ben Costello. Fantastic. Looking forward to more from Dr. Deadwax, more Cascades. But tonight I'm having a Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest, their seasonal beer. Teamed up with some German brewery, Mars Brau. It's okay. Nothing special. Alright, first, in the background, and hopefully I won't get busted for playing this. I've played some of this label stuff before and it's been okay. It's really great stuff and I think a lot of people here would really like it, so that's why I put it on. This just came out last week. Caitlin Aurelia Smith and Suzanne Ciani, Sunergy, on Revenge International, part of their Freakways. Freakways number 13. There's a bonus track, long bonus track. I wish they made it a 3-sided LP because it's also really good. Came out the day that Don Buchla died, and they're both playing Buchla instruments there. Yeah, so electronic music. Great. Highly recommend. And I guess I might as well show this because I liked that so much I went and got the previous Freakways, number 12. Robert Aiki, Aubrey Lowe, and Ariel Calma. We Know Each Other Somehow, a double LP. Yeah, this is great also. Yeah, alright. So, anyway, I wanted to come on and thank Rodney, Roddus, Uncle Roddus. I'll put a link to his channel below. Hey man, thank you so much for this VCLT all the way from New Zealand. He sent me the Chills Kaleidoscope World, an original pressing on Flying Nun. I had posted my German copy on the Facebook page and said, you know, I'd really like to have an original Flying Nun, but you know, they were hard to come by even back in the day. I wish I'd picked up those singles. I remember seeing those singles around back when they came out in the 80s, and they were, you know, like, you know, if I recall, like $8 or something for a 7-inch. That was a lot of money back in 1983 or whatever, 84. So anyway, thank you so much. This is so cool. It sounds awesome. It really does sound better than my German pressing. Great. Thank you so much. And everybody go check out his channel. He shows a lot of interesting New Zealand stuff that, you know, just don't see this side of the world. Cheers, Rodney. Your package should be arriving soon, I hope. Alright, so more records. Yeah. Ariel Calma, Musique pour le rêve et l'amour, music for dream and love. This originally came out in 1980 on cassette, and I'm not exactly sure when this reissue came out. Recently, I think. It's the first time I'd seen it. I snapped it up. That's a great cover. As you can see, it's probably, you know, the cassette J card. Dreamy, droney, acoustic electric, not schmaltzy at all like New Age, but New Age in kind of a spiritual thing. It really, I mean, y'all know Ariel Calma. It's great. Speaking of drone, I guess this came out recently, and since it's one of their earlier records, it came out on CDR originally. This is first vinyl issue. Expo 70s, Exquisite Lust. Yeah, originally came out on CDR in like 2004, 2005, something like that. I happen to know about this cover. on Sonic Meditations, which is, you know, that guy's label. Yeah, what does there say? I find their earlier stuff a little more compelling, like there's a little more going on than their later very drony stuff, so I really enjoyed this quite a bit. They put out a ton of records, so I can't really speak definitively about Exquisite, but I like that very much. Here's the new True Widow record. Sorry about the glare. I pre-ordered this from Relapse. What's the title? Avulgare? I really like their previous album, Circumambulation, which came out, gosh, 3, maybe almost 4 years ago. Really like that record a lot. I was really looking forward to this. I mean, that's a long time to wait for a new record from, you know, a band. And, you know, I'll be honest, when I put this on, I was like, you know, kind of more of the same. I kind of forced myself to listen to it a lot. I didn't force myself, but, you know, I listened to the download in the car and stuff like that, and it's growing on me. It's okay. So True Widow, yeah, it's kind of not metal exactly. They're down-tuned and fuzzy guitars, but more like maybe a shoegaze indie rock thing. Male-female vocalists. I don't know. I really like that other record a lot, and this kind of feels like more of the same, which I guess is okay. You know, what more do you expect from a band, right? I don't know. Cheers. Here's something I've been looking forward to, and so I picked it up right as soon as I could. The Mobile Fidelity 245 RPM reissue of Love's Forever Changes. Classic 1967, you know, LA psych, you know, Arthur Lee. One of the greatest records of all time, I think. And holy shit, this is... Some people are not going to like what Mobile Fidelity's done with this. Personally, I think they've done what I want an audiophile label to do, is to, you know, try to bring out every little bit of that master tape. So this sounds nothing like the original, you know. So if you're looking for, you know, a reproduction of the original, go for the Rhino. That sounds decent. But I put this on, and I'm like, holy shit, there's bass on this record. You know, at first I was kind of shocked, but as I listened to it, and I've listened to it twice now, I think it's stunning. If you love this record, you know, this is a different perspective on it, but it's wow, Technicolor, full frequency kind of experience. Really nice job on this Mo-Fi. You know, again, some people are gonna poo-poo it. I don't know. So that might normally be, you know, kind of enough, but we've been having some work done on the house to get ready for winter, and it meant cleaning out the garage, and I took all these books and some CDs to this place that deals in books and CDs, and I thought, yeah, maybe I'd get something. I didn't care really. I just wanted it out of the house, and so I while I'm waiting, I picked up some classical CDs, some cheap CLDCM CDs, which I'm not going to show because CDs, whatever. And they call my number, and it's like, well, way more than I thought, you know. So I thought, well, you know, okay, well, this place is weird. It's often I don't find anything, and they used to carry new vinyl, and I think they're phasing that out. And they had all this Record Store Day stuff still there, and I also noticed that they'd marked it down a little bit. So I was like, what the hell? I'm just gonna go for this stuff, and this is great. And I should have picked this up sooner. Moondog, the Viking of 6th Avenue compilation put out on Honest John's out of the UK. Compilation of his earliest 78s and EPs from the late 40s, early 50s. And, oh my god, this stuff is great. I was only vaguely familiar with Moondog, and yeah, really great, really nice job. 2 LPs in a gatefold. Sounds terrific. Yeah. Awesome. This is also awesome. Cambodian Cassette Archives, Khmer Folk and Pop Music Volume 1 on, what is this label? Sublime Frequencies. Great. I can't even really describe it. A cache of cassettes found at a public library in Oakland, I think, provide most of this, and some of it's from, you know, pre-Vietnam invasion, but a lot of it's from the diaspora. Just great. I mean, just a really... I need more world folk pop compilations in my collection. I really enjoyed this a lot. As did Liz. And someone in the VC showed this recently. I cannot remember who, but Dave Douglas, Dark Territory. It's a numbered edition, number 906 of 1000, on Greenleaf. Dave Douglas, a trumpet player, jazz. But he's got some Jonathan Maron on electric and synth basses, Mark Juliana on acoustic and electric drums, and Shigeto on electronics. So electronic jazz, not far away from sort of things that Laswell has done in the past. Bill Laswell, you know, not groundbreaking by any means, but it was an enjoyable listen. You know, for free, basically. I couldn't really complain. And they also had a bunch of Record Store Day 7-inches that I remember seeing and saying, well, you know, that'd be nice to have, but they're pricey, and you know. But again, like I said, they lowered the prices and they were essentially free, so I just snagged a bunch of them. The Mickey Finn, Garden of My Mind, backed with Time to Start Loving You. Originally released on Direction in 1967. These first few are on Munster out of Spain. So they're not repros, they've got these little essays on the back, which are actually kind of cool. So yeah, the Mickey Finn, Garden of My Mind. The Rockin' Vickers, Dandy, back with I Don't Need Your Kind. The Mark Stewart Span, Children of Tomorrow, and Concerto of Thoughts. This is really great. UK site, when is this from? 68, originally on Jewel. Yeah, that's killer. The Syndicats, On the Horizon, back with Crawdaddy Simone. The In Crowd, That's How Strong My Love Is, backed with Things She Says. A-side's kind of a, you know, soul, Motown kind of thing in a freak beat fashion, but the B-side is real rave up. Here's like a proto-punk thing, The Deviants, You've Got to Hold On, back with Let's Loot the Supermarket. Yeah, this is pretty killer. Alright, so those are the Munster ones. This is like a Sanctuary thing, Dave Davies hits. There were some Kinks ones I missed out on. Some more Kinks EPs. This is a Dave Davies EP. Pretty cool. Here's the Electric Prunes. I've got A Way of My Own, back with World of Darkness. This is Sundazed. I think there's a 2LP comp of their singles. Would be pretty cool. All of these are in Glorious Mono. That's kind of cool too. Here's Lottie Golden. Talking to Me Baby, It's Your Thing, back with Annabelle with Bells. Homemade Girl. Really interesting. This is on High Moon, originally on Atlantic. I think this is like a radio single. I think High Moon is coming out with a reissue of her album, which was called Motorcycle, which sounds really interesting. Yeah, this is really great, like funky, hippie, feminist soul music or something. A couple of UK folk things. English Songs Volume 2 by Shirley Collins. Robin Hull on guitar. This is lovely, just lovely. And Derek Hall and Mike Cooper, Out of the Shades. Originally a really obscure little EP on Kennett Recording. And this is a reissue on Paradise of Bachelors. Nice. And, you know, I'm a sucker for 7-inches with picture sleeves. Alright, 15 minutes into it, here I am showing like maybe one of the really best records I found recently. Don Cherry, Complete Communion on Blue Note. Originally from like 65 or something like that. This is a later Blue Label pressing, but I don't care because it's like really nice condition, and what a great record with Gato Barbieri Don Cherry on cornet, of course. Henry Grimes on bass and Ed Blackwell on drums. Classic. Just classic. Speaking of Don Cherry, here's the studio album by Old and New Dreams on ECM. Self-titled. It's great. Don Cherry, Dewey Redman, Charlie Hayden, and Ed Blackwell. I prefer the live one playing. It's a little bit firier. This is a little bit kind of in that mellow ECM studio bag, but still lovely. I mean, geez, put those guys in a room and it's going to be great. Here's something that Diana Biernot showed on Facebook. Got a nice response, and Diana has a channel, Diggin' the Crate with an 8 at the end. She's in Germany and she's got amazing records. She's got great taste and speaks really well, even though English is her second language. I feel like a complete cretin and I can only speak English, barely. So anyway, she showed this and I was like, oh, this looks interesting, and people's response was really interesting too. Joe Farrell, Moon Germs on CTI. CTI is a label that's hit or miss for me, mostly miss, to be honest. So I'm like, what's that? And you know, there's often great players on CTI, Herbie Hancock, Stanley Clark, and Jack DeJohnette. I'm like, and you open it up and it says, you know, oh, Herbie Hancock's playing piano. Well, he's playing more than piano here. There's like tons of great Rhodes and synth, and this is funky. This is really great 70s, you know, funky fusion. Not exactly sure when this is from, 74, something like that. I've heard Joe Farrell's Outback is also worth checking out. So I'll be keeping my eye out for that. Alright, here's an interesting psych record. I've said before my psych collection is patchy, and this record's kind of patchy, but it's interesting and kind of obscure. Fever Tree, their self-titled debut album on Uni. Uni's a cool label. I listened to this a few times because at first I didn't quite know what to make of it. And I guess the best way I can describe it is sort of like the Moody Blues meets Vanilla Fudge or something. I mean, there's kind of heavy sometimes with like heavy organ. And there's a really sludgy cover of Day Tripper, kind of reminds me of Vanilla Fudge. And then there's like these strings and soaring, very dramatic vocals that, you know, it's more in that Moody Blues proto-prog thing. I think this is from like 68, 67, 68, something like that. Pretty cool record. I think of Zeke, the record geek, when I see things like this. Yeah, pretty cool little record. This was cheap, and I just couldn't resist because John Renbourn is such a great guitar player. John Renbourn and Stefan Grossman live in concert. Double LP on Shinachi from 1984. And now John Renbourn's stuff is sublime. When they play together, it's sublime. I can't say I'm a big fan of Stefan Grossman's sort of ragtimey American stuff. I'm more of I just go for that UK sound more. And you know, John Renbourn's side and a half or whatever, excellent. You know, definitely worth having in my collection. All right, we're only 18 minutes into it. I might as well show you some other little finds that, you know, nothing exciting here. Gentle Giant, The Missing Piece from 1977 on Capitol, U.S. pressing. In decent shape. Derek, I think, posted the 8-track of this on Facebook. And that was something. And then I'm out, you know, and I see a nice copy of the LP, figure out what the hell. You know, it's not their best record, but there's some good songs on here, you know? When I didn't have it, it was The Missing Piece in my collection, although I'm still missing some other ones. Alright, here's a couple Tangerine Dream records. This is an upgrade copy, a UK pressing of Exit on Virgin from 1981. This is a really good later period Tangerine Dream record, I think. Yeah. So that'll replace my US pressing. And then this is an even later Tangerine Dream record, Tiger, from 1987 on Caroline, US pressing on Caroline. This is one of the few Tangerine Dream records that has vocals, so there's this kind of dramatic soprano singing the words of William Blake, and it's not totally for me. The instrumental passages are great, you know, and as a completist, you know, I'm obviously going to keep this after I throw it on the floor. All right, 20 minutes. You want to hear? You want to see some more of this stuff? I'm not sure about this. Ray Bryant in the cut from 1974 on Cassette, subsidiary of CTI, and it's kind of got that CTI bag. Ray Bryant, kind of more of a bop pianist, but he's playing a lot of electric piano on here, and there's some, you know, jazzed up covers of "I'll Be There." It's okay. The arrangements are a little stock, you know, but when he solos, it's terrific. I'm probably not going to keep that. Here's Norman Connors presents Aquarian Dreams. Aquarian Dream, which is, I guess, they tried to be a band. Norman Connors isn't in the band, but you know who is? Gloria Jones sings lead vocals. She went on to sing background vocals in the Jerry Garcia band, so I saw her many, many times. So this is straight up disco, 1976. For what it is, you know, I lived through the disco era. It makes me nostalgic, I guess. Now, speaking of disco, this is a record that I've seen shown in the VC before, and everyone says the same thing: it sucks. And I saw this white label promo for cheap, and I thought, well, I'm going to see for myself. Idris Muhammad, Boogie to the Top. I mean, with a cover like that, a title like that, I mean, you should know this is going to be straight up disco. And it is, and yeah, you know, he's a really talented, funky drummer, and he's just like laying down that 4 on the floor stuff, and he sounds bored, you know, or he sounds like as coked up as he looks here. It's not very good. Alright, now here's a record I think is really good, and some of you are going to be like, what the hell, Roger? Unsubscribe! Dislike! I wasn't even sure I was going to show it. But it's one of my shorter videos. Gone really quickly, so yeah, I mean, why not? The truth is, I've actually been looking for a decent, clean copy of this for a while. Now, not like I'm going on Discogs, like, you know, ready to fork over big bucks. It's like, no, I mean, because it's just about the most common record there is out there. But the thing is, sure, you see it all the time, but it's usually beat to hell because people played it to death. Yes, Frampton Comes Alive. A&M from, what, 1976? Yes. Now, I remember in 1976 being a little kid and pilfering my older sister's copy of this record so I could play it and probably scratch it all up. I really liked side 4, that kind of long jam. And I still like, not everything on here is great. I think the Jumpin' Jack Flash is horrible, but there's some great songs. He's a decent guitar player, and, you know, I always kind of felt bad for the guy because I don't think he thought going into this that this was going to be quite as huge as it was, and he would become like this teeny bopper thing. And then his next record, you know, was a disaster, and that was it. That was the end of Peter Frampton. You know, he lived here in Nashville for a while. You know, I think he thought he could break into the Nashville songwriting mafia, and of course, no, he was run out of town. I think he went to L.A. or whatever. Who knows? So yeah, I'm not ashamed. You know, I think this is classic. You know, it's just classic, and so I found a nice copy. I mean, hardly any ring wear. I mean, it's hardly ever played. It's like the kind of thing that, you know, some kid gave it to her dad, or, you know, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna play it. And it was there with all the, you know, Montalbani records, whatever. All right, that's enough. I look forward to your comments and your dislikes and all of that. I hope you're all doing well. I mean no harm. They're just pieces of plastic and cardboard. I mean, what's the big deal? Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon.